Alright, so we're back for the next installment, and I wanted to take a little bit of a look at this guy. We have the sweep that goes around the edge. If I come down here to my visual style and I go to wireframe, you're going to see that profile. Now, one thing that's sort of interesting about Revit is that if you were to come in and say change this profile, right? So if I come in here and pick that and pull it out, it actually automatically updates that sweep. So that's kind of nice. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is take this, I'm going to come down here and go back to shaded, and we want to put it into a project, because right now we're in a conceptual mass family, and it's very nice to work in here because we can see in 3D. It's not as cluttered if you were to have a project that was a little bit more complex, but this is a good process to learn how to load a family into a project. So the first thing I need to do is open a project. You can use the project that was provided to you on your assignment. So I'm going to come to the R pull down here, and I'm just going to open A01 project base, which you also have. And it's going to open up. It has a little splash screen here that comes up first that allows you to enter different information, but don't worry about that right now. I'm going to go to the views over here in the project browser, and I am going to go to the working, and I'm going to expand that, and I'm going to go to floor plans and expand that, and I'm going to double click on site. It's going to take me into the site view, and you can delete this big green box here if you like. It may not be there. I may delete it for you out of that. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and load the project in here. And so I'm going to go to Control Tab because my other file is still open. It's just behind this one. So if I go to Control Tab, it's going to cycle through all the open windows. I do not need this window open, so I'm just going to close it up here, the X. And then that brings me back to my family. Alright, now I haven't saved this. It's a good idea to come in here and save it. So I'm just going to go to Save, and I'll save this as A01, oops, sorry, A01 family. Okay. Click OK. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to load it into project, and you're going to get this option in all of the families interfaces, because that's what you eventually want to do, is load it into a project. Now the project's going to allow us to do a lot more, like take floor plans and sections and do a bunch of other things that we cannot do in this sort of simplified version of Revit. So I'm just going to go to load into project, and couple of things happen. Because I only have one other project open, it automatically flips to that new project, and it turns on the show mass mode in the project. Because I'm working in a conceptual mass, they're turned off, and Revit is nice enough to say, hey, you're bringing this thing in, would you like me to turn on the mass? So you can see it. You're like, thank you so much. So you hit close, and then what happens is you're going to see this thing kind of stick to your cursor, right? And so just go ahead, you should have the site open, and left click on the survey base point, which is that blue thing in the middle. So I'm going to left click, and it's going to place that thing right there on level 1. You see placement plane right there, level 1. Now it wants to place more of them, but I don't want to, so I'm going to hit escape twice. 1, 2, and then I'll go up here to my default 3D view, and you can see that we have that guy placed right in here. Okay. You can get rid of this scope box too, I guess. You could delete that if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave it. But if it's bothering you, go ahead and get rid of it. So basically, you have a lot of similar things. So down here's the view control bar. So if I wanted to go to shaded mode, I could go to shaded. Now in the Revit project, the masses are by default given a transparent material. But what Revit does allow us to do is it allows us to go ahead and place walls and floors on the faces of this conceptual mass. So that's pretty cool. So we've got the project loaded, and for the next one we're going to put walls and roofs on this guy. Alright,